You're listening to the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. We are coming at you live from an undisclosed location in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan with a very precarious tree that might fall at any moment. My fiance is walking around trying to find birds, and she may steal my lens here to go shoot them. But we were going to do a full live episode out here. We were going to have coffee out here.
We have coffee. What are you talking about?
We do have coffee. A couple of things have changed. So we're going to just touch on what we were doing up here. I want to plug the portrait share that will come up in the very, very next episode. We have a few submissions. I don't even have a portrait yet, legit. So I'm happy to push it back. But we're going to talk about a couple of things, maybe go over one of the main reasons why we were up here. And yeah, so how you doing, David?
I'm feeling a little burned. I'll talk about that a little bit. Wakako, what's going on? Wakako is a brand that makes coffee making devices, particularly handheld espresso makers that are not electronic. You add pressure via a pump on the side of a well type device, and then you create pressure and it pulls the espresso down. I ground my coffee a little too fine. And we only got one shot when we were supposed to have two. So this is a bit of an Americano as well, because this was too coarse for what should have been a true espresso. But actually, I pulled a long shot and it tastes fairly balanced. So I hope you like it.
It's pretty all right. Thank you.
Of course, it's from Dead River Coffee. It is our espresso blend, if anyone's interested. So how are you?
I'm good. It is summer here for some reason. It has been in the low 70s.
It's feeling good.
Which has been nice. We packed a bunch of big turtlenecks and jackets and pants and long socks and stuff and didn't need half of it.
Yeah, and what, is the 18th today?
It's October 18th.
Ugh.
And yeah, so we came up here for a couple of reasons, just to get away after a long rotation for L and to do some photos with David. I was originally going to propose up here, but as you might have known if you watched the last episode, that obviously happened. So we did some photos today. I don't know how they went because I was basically blacked out for the whole experience because I'm not used to taking these kinds of photos. But I would assume David did well. And yeah.
You hope.
How'd that go?
It went well. I would say it went well. So we'll bring it back to the start. We had planned to meet at Little Presque Isle, just north of Marquette a little ways, and it's a popular spot, so no need to hide that. It is beautiful. There's like tall pines that don't have lots of branches at the lower portions of the trees, so there's like just beautiful spots to take pictures in the woods, and then you can go out to the end at the point. Sunrise was really nice. We used a lot of nice golden light there. I have a lot of experience doing like weddings and portraits and stuff like that, so I was very comfortable in that setting, but I also forever have been doing landscapes. And I think one of my strengths is blending those two things, and finding landscape compositions that complement portraits is something that I've kind of been proud of doing for the last little while. And that was some of what I did for my portrait submission that we'll talk about on the next episode. But I did that for you guys today.
Yeah.
So we started at Little Presque. What'd you guys think of Little Presque? You've been there before.
Yeah, this was my second time. We actually scoped it out yesterday. Windy. And it couldn't have been more perfect. The sun came up in a very beautiful way. Super golden hour. It wasn't very windy, and it's been really windy since we've been up here, but the trees break that up really nicely. Yeah. The beach was relatively chill. Nobody was really there yet, which was awesome. We got there just before the sun had kind of popped.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it went well. I'm not really like a take cutesy photos of me kind of fella, if you could imagine. And walking around and trying to be cute was kind of fun. She makes it kind of easy, but
it was a nice time.
Yeah, it was good.
So we started at Little Presque. We went through the woods. I think I switched up from the Sigma 28 to 105 over to the 150 to 600 a couple times there. And the 150 to 600, we tried to get the almost full moon in the background, super compressed. I think if I liked any of those. There might be like one good shot to pull out from that as kind of an experimental thing. I was stopped down to f/25, so that's going to need some cleanup work because I've never cleaned my sensor ever. And I tried to put a couple of the birch leaves, so yellow birch leaves, beside you guys. So if there's one in there, I'll be really happy. Yeah. For the most part, I would say 90% of that was shot with the 28-105 all over the place. We were 28 in some spots using landscape features. We were 105 in some spots, compressing the heck out of everything and getting really nice fall colors behind you. The island was looking great too, so we got that in the background. We were using all kinds of things. So that went really well, I think.
Yeah, it was sweet because all of the locations we went to, or the few locations we went to, were completely empty.
Yeah.
And the weather was perfect for it. I think most of my focus was just trying to feel somewhat natural and have fun. Yeah. So I wasn't really trying too much. Hopefully we weren't just doing the same pose every single time. I'm not really a posy guy.
No, and I'm not either as a photographer. My goal is to get models comfortable with each other so that they don't even feel like I'm there. And that easily happened with you guys very quickly. Yeah. I don't know how nervous either of you felt throughout, but you didn't look it. Yeah. So that's going to help out. And then throughout that shoot, I don't even think I took out the 50 at all in that.
Only one time on the road in between the two locations. Yeah.
So before I go on to the next location, if I can offer one bit of advice, if you're coming up north for fall colors, pick out a couple locations and get to them early, like sunrise time, because we had almost no one to compete with for like just walking around. There was like one other dude on the beach when we got there.
And there was no reason for nobody to be out. Like it was warm, it was warm. Beautiful, like it was sick.
And these are popular locations. These are places where in the summertime, any time of the day, there's the whole parking lot's full. And we were super lucky. But it seemed to me that if you get there for sunrise, at least during fall colors, kids are back in school, so there's a few less people, but there are fall color chasers, and they're going to come up, and that happened to be the case after we were all done. People seem to start rolling in. Yeah. So get out in the sunrise. You're only going to benefit from doing that unless it rains and you're miserable and it's cloudy and whatever else. So after Little Presque Isle, we drove roughly, 30 minutes from there over to some waterfalls, and we found Yellow Dog Falls. I've been there. We've talked about it before, and took some pictures there, and that was pretty awesome. Why don't you talk about...
Yeah, I mean, super easy hike, which is cool, but definitely doesn't feel like a commercial trail or anything. It's super secluded, which is really cool. Not too scrambly or anything like that. I mean, we were not like the best equipped to hike, but we were equipped. And it was super easy, super pretty. That place is nice because it worked out really well that we started at Little Presque, because by the time we got there, the sun was a little higher, but it gets shrouded so much by all the trees. They're pretty deep there that you just get like the hard light coming through really dense trees and brush. Mm-hmm. So we basically extended the nice light into late morning, which is brilliant. Yeah. So I'm excited to see some of that stuff. You did some handheld, like slightly longer exposure stuff at the waterfalls and with a lens that does not have stabilization. So we'll see how just the in-body stabilization does, which I'm sure is fine. I've done that with like the 50 mil for different landscape reasons. So usually you take 100, and if one's good, you got it. So but before we got on the trail, we did stuff on the dirt road there. So nice. there's I mean, I tried multiple times to be up here during fall colors. I actually, when we first met, was one of your workshops for fall colors, and it was a bit late. And it's like, this is the most incredible place I think I've ever been. Our entire drive all the way up through the lower peninsula was bananas, and then we get here and it's every single turn. Like up here was even prettier than like Tunnel of Trees down in the lower peninsula, which is like highlight location for people to go for fall colors. And it was a bit early there. It was green and maybe a little like wind swept, I think.
Maybe.
Like, because it's right off the water there, and I think it got pushed pretty hard with some wind. But just like deep reds, some like crazy bright yellow stuff, like, and luscious, not dead and like kind of sad. It's been, and then so much sun. There hasn't been a freaking cloud in the sky for 2 days, which is awesome. We went up the Sky Bridge and stuff like that. the lack of clouds and the really nice sun with the fall colors has been really, really advantageous for like the also full moon last night. And so basically every night, all of our sunsets have been perfect. Like there was this crazy, like ethereal, like haze around the full moon. And it was like deep purple the last 2 nights. We stopped in Little Presque last night, or Presque Isle, and we're taking some photos of the moon. There was a couple of people out there. Super, super beautiful. Like it's literally, I don't know who is shining down on our relationship, but they're like, okay, you're going to give you northern lights for a proposal. Your fall colors are going to be brilliant. You're going to have warm weather, sunny skies.
You guys were gifted.
It's been epic. Not a single issue. So it's been cool. I've been able to actually shoot a little bit of landscape and stuff with the 28 to 105, which I've kept on the A7S III, which is shooting us right now. I'm beginning to see a little bit of the distortion in my images, especially with some video.
Yeah, you're saying that.
I just found a little bit ago that it does a really, really awesome vertigo zoom, which is sweet because it's such a deep focus with a relatively fast aperture. But I'm liking it. I don't care about the heft. I think it's such a good freaking lens. I know I'm not going to turn this into episode 4 of Sigma. Please sponsor the channel, but it's a really remarkable lens. And again, it's still only 50. Imagine if I had waited. I'm sure it'll probably go on sale for B&H creators eventually.
Maybe.
And it'll be even a better value. But it's been sweet up here.
Yeah. So. If I could bring it back a little bit. We shot at Yellow Dog Falls. We did some images on the dirt road leading in. So nice fall colors surrounding the dirt roads. Think of a dirt road with nice fall colors around it. Classic stuff. Looks great. I think they look great. Then we hiked into Yellow Dog Falls. There's a series of cascades. We found what I think were at least 2 distinct cascades, but in between them, there's just like little ones that kind of follow through. So it was just a really nice hike in. If you're gonna do it, plan for like being there for maybe like an hour to enjoy a couple of them and walk back out. As far as I know, it's not a loop, but I've never gone beyond about like 30 minutes of walking in. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And the shots in there were fabulous. I mean, in the viewfinder, at least, we were just hitting all the waterfalls. I was very conscious about like the flow of the water, direction of the water, using that to balance out where you guys were. Just visual balance was on my mind that whole time. Posing you guys was really easy, actually. You're both good listeners and adjusted really well for that. And you both worked together comfortably, which naturally is going to help. So I think the images look great. The colors were fantastic out there. I mean, you're shooting at a waterfall too, so you've got the visual interest. And you guys looked so comfortable. So the images are going to turn out great. Shot over 2,000, so we've got a lot of images to look at. And it's going to be a blast editing them because fall season. I was saying this to Lisa. I think I've shot more. I probably said this last episode. In September through now than I have like the whole last year. My catalog is just so beefed up, just because I love fall so much. So that was all the shooting we've done so far, really.
Yeah, one of the reasons we wanted to come up here when we kind of took the time off a couple months ago was we were hoping to hit the birds as they were migrating south. And it sounds like there was a pretty wild frost like 8 days ago, which probably pushed a lot of them down.
It wasn't even 8. I think it was more like 3 or 4 days ago. And it was only a stretch of a couple of days where in the mornings it was a thick frost on my window. And I think that may have done it. And the wind, the combination. If maybe we didn't have the wind the last couple of days, who knows? But just days ago, there were warbler sightings. And this is where I seen them last. And I'm not hearing them.
Yeah, we hear a chickadee here and there. I think we've seen a grackle today. Maybe a robin, probably a robin.
And something smaller than an otter.
And something smaller than an otter. So wildlife hasn't been popping off, but we've had a good year. So I think Elle has 100 species on her life list. So starting it, I'm north of 75. So it was a wild first year of birding. We'll definitely hit spring with David. We'll probably come up here and go back to Tawas. And then it'll get a little crazier. We're going to get her an actual birding setup soon.
Cool.
I haven't decided exactly what to go with that. I'm still kind of considering playing with like an Olympus or something, like getting something that's like just super long, because she doesn't need anything but a birding camera.
Yeah.
Maybe something where you can get, this range, but at half the size. Because she's not really worried about depth of field, as long as it can push ISO just enough to get lower light-ish images. I think she'll be happy. So and have okay autofocus. So I think next year will be really cool for birds. I gotta still push through my last like 3 shoots and edit my bird photos, but I won't be adding too many this trip. So
yeah, it doesn't look like that'll be the case. But leading into the next part of the conversation, I think we have opportunities for maybe 1 or 2 more trails we could go down. I think if we have time, I would like to take you down the one in Ish.
Sure.
Because that's where I've seen more woodpeckers than I really do anywhere else around here, more grouse than I've ever run into around here. So I think, if anything, there's opportunity there that maybe isn't here.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a chance to see a pileated over there, that would make our entire trip. So
definitely chance, because you see those through the winter. They don't go away up here. Yeah. So that's something I would like to do.
Yeah. Well,
we have plans to go to Black Rocks tomorrow, which is fun. I don't know if I'll be shooting, taking the kids and just enjoying the scenery. There's potential we might maybe go out for a comet.
Yeah, maybe.
And if not, I'd at least like to talk about it. There's a comet in our western skies right now, and I don't know if it'll be visible by the time this episode comes out, but it's Comet something Atlas. I don't remember how to pronounce the full name, but it's clearly not an English name, but it's Comet Atlas. If you've seen pictures of comets going around on Instagram or whatever, it's probably this one, or it's people who are missing out and posting their NeoWise photos from 2020.
Yeah.
I got one opportunity so far, and it was literally just down the road from my house. I live next to a small lake in Ishpeming, and I happen to be on the east side of it, so looking west over towards kind of like a hill, I guess. It's not a mountain, but a hill. So I got it at around 8:30 p.m. It was roughly maybe 15 degrees off the horizon, so just starting to like touch this hill. So I got a nice enough photo that I didn't miss it, but it certainly wasn't a planned shot. And this comet and comets like this are rare enough that I like to make an effort.
Yeah.
So if I don't, I'll be a little bit bummed, but not heartbroken, because I don't see a way I can beat my NeoWise shots with me sitting under a birch tree with northern lights going off with Comet NeoWise in the sky.
Yeah, that's pretty epic.
It's one of my like all-time portfolio shots. It went into one of my calendars. I love that image, and I only think about it when I think about shooting comets now. So, but this one is bigger and brighter than NeoWise. It's got an anti-tail now, so there's a tail that stretches upwards, and it looks like it's shooting down towards the horizon. Anti-tail is like a refraction of the light, so it looks like there's another tail that is shooting forward from the comet. So it's very faint. You'll see, like if you've seen like more deep space image, the compressed stuff, it's very visible with that stuff. With this, so like a 28 to 105, definitely enough to get the comet. Like even at like 50, 85, you're filling like a half of your like a horizontal frame with the comet tail, which is nice. If you were to use that lens, you would fill the frame vertically with the comet for sure. And it's cool stuff. And you don't even need a tracker, like a half a second, I think I was doing, or something like that. So comet stuff has been fun to look at least. I've got a few friends who've been posting stuff, and I'm a little jealous about the compositions they've been making, and it's been interesting to look at. So other than that, how about the rest of your trip? Do you have other stops maybe while you're here or on the way down you're thinking about?
Not that we know of. Like I said, we might try and get some comet stuff. We'll still try to poke around for birds.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go to Ish if that's likely to at least have a handful. I know she'd love to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're just kind of going to take it easy, and we've burned through like all the stuff that we kind of wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we're relaxing now, which is nice.
Yeah, it's been great. Today's Friday. I took today off of work. I actually worked an extra day, like a week and a half ago, and I was like, "Hey, Sloan, can I just take like that day way over there off and compensate?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll be gone anyway."
Nice.
So I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So tomorrow we might be able to get some time out as well. We got plans for Black Rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like to go down the trails in Ish, and other than that, maybe we'll talk about it and see what happens. You guys are planning on leaving Sunday, I think. So
Yeah, probably pretty early on Sunday. So
yeah.
we got a ways. This is hecka far north from where we're at in Lansing. So yeah, should be good. Maybe we'll stop at some places on the way back down. Maybe take 131 down. I kind of regret not going to. I realized after we drove through Petoskey, I should have stopped and tried to see Eric Haight. And then when we stopped for food, we were already past it. And I was like, fool. But that and maybe some Jose's in Petoskey. But
drop into his history of rock and roll class.
Yeah, just like I'm supposed to be there.
He would be.
I'm very incognito,
glad.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, just wanted to sit down and we kind of half promised a live episode, so we didn't have a ton to get through, but.
That's because it's only been a few days since we shot the last one. Yeah. Neither of us have shot. I don't think you have shot anything
just
since.
For work, yeah.
Yeah. So that's I think about it. Polaroid is making a new factory. Polaroid is making a new factory in a town that I cannot pronounce, and they're currently in a town that I cannot pronounce. It's
Perfect.
Dutch. So expect a new Polaroid factory maybe in 2027. I don't know.
There actually is some pretty cool stuff that Sony alluded to their engineers listening to creators talking about fixed lens X106 kind of competition. They also alluded to the A7S III being like still a good fit in their market lineup, but not being dead. So like I guess.
Well, they finally updated it.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean, it only took them 2 years, but
yeah.
I do think it's actually probably still one of the best values for a video-centric mirrorless. I'm using it full time for photos right now, and I'm loving the images I get from it.
Yeah.
But it will be cool. Again, I still want a 24 megapixel video-centric, not $6,000 camera.
Yeah. I think that's coming.
Yeah, and hopefully it will, because I think that'd be kind of like my bread and butter right there. Even though, what the hell was that thing? That was a demon. But yeah, so that's exciting. It sounds like with whatever that interview was, they're like kind of alluding to, we are listening to the creators and we're working on stuff. They mentioned the 100 to 300 2.8 that Canon made.
Yeah.
And I guess they were talking about sports photographers wanting that, so there could be that in the horizon.
Sure.
Which would be a little out of my price range, but it's a wild lens. You could go 28 to 105, 100 to 300, and then have everything out to 300 for 2.8, which would be pretty crazy. Yeah. That'd be the move. Sell the 70 to 200, get the 100 to 300.
That would be, what Canon's is pretty up there in price, isn't it? It's like.
Yeah, I think it's $3,500.
Oh, okay. That's, I think, less than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it could be more.
Yeah.
But, anyway, Sony's working. We care because we're Sony shooters still until Nikon pushes you over the edge.
I think if they were going to do it, it would have already happened.
Yeah.
I still do love the idea of having a ZF, and maybe that'll be a second body one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as this episode goes, I think that's about it, huh?
Yeah. If you want to submit your portraits, I'll have the email below and in the last episode, lotpodsubmissions@gmail.com. We're going to talk about them next episode, and we'll hopefully have a decent amount of photography to talk about as well. So.
Well, I'll have some images for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.